Kryptonite. Just the word is enough to send chills down Superman's spine. This glowing green rock formed from the shattered remains of Krypton is the ultimate not-so-fast big guy in the world of superheroes. You see, Kryptonite does more than just weaken Superman. It reduces the most powerful being on Earth to a vulnerable shadow of himself. It saps his strength, dulls his senses, and makes him feel pain like the rest of us mere mortals. It is easily Superman's biggest weakness. Wait, hold up. Are you trying to tell me that this right here is Superman's greatest weakness? No. Let's talk about it. Ah, yes, Superman, the OG superhero, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. But beneath all that godlike power is a tragic flaw, one that's far more devastating than Kryptonite: his morality. And as Superman and Lois wrapped up recently, effectively closing the chapter in the Arrowverse, it's a pretty good time to explore how his moral compass has been both his greatest strength and weakness. Before we get into this, let's talk about a few things. First off the bat, I'm more of a Marvel guy than a DC guy. I mean, I like Superman, but I'm more of a Spider-Man fan. And as I watch my watch time plummet at this exact moment, those who stuck around who want to see the rest of this video, I appreciate you guys. And if the algorithm brought you here for whatever reason, it probably brought you here for a good reason. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that like button. All right, let's get into this. Let's talk about this Arrowverse finale for a bit. We're talking about the season finale of Superman and Lois. It just ended a couple nights ago. A lot of people are divided because of how it ended, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But the show as a whole explores the poignant exploration of Superman's humanity, from him being a father, a husband, and of course, the last son of Krypton. And with Lois Lane reaching her final mortality in the finale, spoiler alert, the series hits the ultimate Superman dilemma. What happens when he can't save the one thing he loves the most? It's a thematic mic drop for the Arrowverse, a universe built on flawed, deeply human heroes. Superman's morality, especially his inability to choose between saving the world and protecting his family, is the heart of his character. It's why the Arrowverse closing feels so fitting. It's a reminder that even gods have limits, and those limits often cut the deepest. So, when it comes to Superman in general, there's different forms of media, right? Comics, TV shows, movies. And we're going to kind of take a look at some of these things to kind of analyze his morality a little bit to see if Superman has always been the moral dude. First of all, we're talking about Superman in comics. The price of doing the right thing in Superman's moral struggles aren't new. In the comic books, there's a bunch of different examples. One for particular is For the Man Who Has Everything, Superman Annual number 11. This is Alan Moore's masterpiece, which traps Superman in a dream state, and he's living his deepest wish, a happy life on Krypton. However, when he's forced to let go of the utopia that saved his friends, it's a painful reminder that Superman will always choose his duty over personal happiness. His morality robs him of what he desires most: normalcy. Then there's Kingdom Come, Elseworlds. In this iconic storyline, Superman's unwavering ideals clash with a world that moved past them. When his moral rigidity leads to mass destruction, Superman is forced to question whether his black and white worldview can coexist with humanity's gray realities. Spoiler: it can't. And it's kind of heartbreaking. Then, of course, there's the death of Superman. Superman's ultimate sacrifice against doom isn't just a physical death, it's a moral one. His decision to face the unstoppable force of doomsday head-on is a noble one, but it highlights his inability to delegate or compromise. He's always been the one to save the day, even at the cost of his own life. So there's plenty more examples in the comics that we could talk about, but we're not going to spend all day talking about the comic books. We're here to talk about if Superman's a good guy or not. So let's talk about some of Superman's films. Superman's morality also takes center stage in the cinematic adventures. Man of Steel was a controversial moment when Superman killed General Zod to save a family. Fans were torn on this act because, is that something that Superman does? Kill people? Did he violate his own code? It's a perfect example of his morality putting him in a no-win situation. Either he saves the family and compromises values, or he doesn't and lives with guilt. It's the perfect Superman dilemma, and I'm actually a really big fan of Man of Steel because of his decision to do that. Then you have Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. Let's talk about the whole Martha debacle.
Why did you say that name?
Superman's commitment to saving his mother drives him into a fight with Batman, but his inability to articulate himself, I mean, come on, man, use your words. really got him close to being killed. His moral compass here is both his saving grace and his Achilles heel. And that's always kind of been the theme when it comes to Superman, where it's like he always just has to do the right thing, no matter what. No matter if his family's on the line, his friends are on the line, or if his own life is on the line, Superman's going to always do the right thing. And that's one of the things that makes him appealing as a superhero. But I think it also makes it his greatest weakness. Okay, we're going to talk about morality as manipulation because Superman villains often exploit his morality because honestly, it's his most predictable trait. Lex Luthor, for example, the mastermind of moral dilemmas, in All-Star Superman, Lex toys with Clark's need to save everyone, knowing that he'll sacrifice his own well-being just to do so. Even in the Injustice comics, the Joker uses Superman's morality against him, tricking him into killing Lois Lane and pushing him into a moral spiral. This isn't just a flaw, it's a weaponized weakness. His enemies know that Superman won't cross certain lines, and they use that predictability to their advantage. Superman's code makes him noble, but it also makes him vulnerable in ways that, Kryptonite never could. But the question is, why do we still love Superman? Why does it still work? Despite all this, Superman's morality isn't just a flaw, it's his essence. It's what sets him apart from darker heroes like Batman. While Bruce Wayne's all about vengeance and moral compromise, Clark Kent believes in the inherent goodness of humanity. That unwavering hope is why we root for him, even when his decisions feel frustratingly naive. As for Superman and Lois ending and the Arrowverse coming to a close, it reminds us that Superman's story isn't about his powers, it's about his humanity. His morality may be his greatest weakness, but it also might be his relatable trait. He's not just a god trying to be a human, he's a human trying to live up to godhood. Superman's morality is what makes him a hero, but it's also what makes him tragic. From comics to TV to film, his ethical dilemmas are a mirror to our own struggles with doing the right thing in an imperfect world. So, as the Arrowverse comes to an end, we're reminded about how Superman always leads with his moral compass and his heart. And while I didn't even really watch the series, I actually heard it was one of the better versions of Superman. I might have to actually go check it out. You guys should let me know what you thought about the Superman and Lois series finale. Did it do the show and the mythos of Superman justice? Did it suck? Let's talk about it. But at the end of the day, Superman is one of the greatest heroes of all time simply because he does lead with a strong moral compass. But that morality does get him into trouble. And it's safe to say that he might have other things to worry about besides Kryptonite.